What's up, fellas? Chris Teresi here, professional sports bettor, founder of WeCoverSpreads.com. Here to give you guys the Thursday market report. Um, oh no, Wednesday. My bad. Wednesday market report. I'm moving the week along a little bit too quick. Wednesday market report. Before we get into that though, I have an all access pass up. We already have a 5-star play locked in college hoops. We hit our 5-star last night with Michigan. Hit the one the night before with Kansas. I think the day before that we had the Giants in football. So we've been hitting the big plays, and this is another game here that we locked in. It has a lot of muscle behind it. And what I mean by like a lot of muscle, um, it's a game that we have good info on that has a lot of money behind it. A lot of big money that from respectable guys here in the local New York area. Of course, two guys out on the West Coast too, because it is a West Coast game. So a lot of good info on this one here. So we decided, you know what? Well, while the info's flowing, we're gonna keep triggering. So you could get that play up on the site. 28, 14, and 167% all sports run the last 11 days. 17 out of our last 25 college hoops bets we've won. Doing solid in NBA, grinding them out. 56% winners to start the season. So that 5-star pass, it comes with all any NBA we add, all the college basketball, plus you get that 5-star play. All that's all inclusive in the Wednesday all access pass up at WeCoverSpreads.com. Gonna talk about today's market report. Plenty of college basketball moves to talk about. As far as NBA, not so much, but recreational bettors are getting involved in NBA today, and we'll start with that. Like I always start with the most heavy recreational bet games from regular bettors. As far as like parlays and such go, these are the games that are going to be the thorn in the books behind, you could say. Oklahoma City Thunder, the Boston Celtics. Believe it or not, the betting public is back in Boston, laying all those points against Toronto. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that the public is starting to catch on to. The Pacers they're very heavily bet today. The Pacers in Memphis. So if you look at pretty much who all those teams are playing, it's like the betting public is pretty much just betting against the bottom feeders of the league. On the blind, they'll lay the points, and the number doesn't matter. They're just gonna lay it. So, no real big sharp money early on sides in NBA to talk about. A couple of totals, like the Detroit Philly total opened 200, was bet up to 204. The Knicks and Phoenix open 194.5, was bet all the way up to 201. That's a really big move, especially here in local New York. The over in that Knicks Phoenix game. You're way behind the opening number though, really behind the value. Could set up a good potential middle for guys who take the under now at 201 and had the 194.5 earlier. As far as other sides, you got Indiana and Sacramento open 187.5, was bet up to 190.5 toward the over. So that's it. That wraps up the NBA card. Not, like I said, not really much to talk about there. As far as college, these are the games here that'll be the thorn in the book side. Like a lot of recreational money coming in as far as these teams being wrapped up in parlays and such. Xavier, Indiana, Richmond, Old Dominion, Rice, Creighton, UTEP, Kansas State, Iowa State, and Murray State are all going to be, the most heavily bet recreational better type of games for today or whatever. Lot of market movement. Now, this, like with the NBA plays, this is all informational purposes only. Doesn't mean I endorse these plays or co-sign them, but these are moves I got, from my local contact here that works with a lot of local shops here in the New York area. And this is what's been moving. So I guess get your pens ready. It's a very long list today. A lot of action, and again, some of these moves they may buy off of before tip off. This is earlier in the afternoon as we're recording this. So, but we're gonna let it go. We got Northeastern open 4.5, but bet down to 2.5. Villanova saw a pretty big move. I tweeted about that this morning on Twitter. They were open up as a dog yesterday, a pick 'em basically. Early money came in on Seton Hall, then this morning a load of money came in on Villanova. George Washington also seen a little bit of a move. They opened 3.5, bet down to 2. Especially here in the local New York area, we've seen Rhode Island get a lot of at the local shops here get a lot of money against Fordham. They opened 5, bet down to 3.5. Fordham's big in our parlay card today, but not really on a national scale. But a lot of local bettors in the New York area starting to, I guess, like Fordham after watching them. They won a couple of games against a little bit of better talent than they're used to beating in the past. St. John's is a sharp local move as well. That's really not. I think offshore it hasn't even moved. We're down to 6 off of opener 7 here in the local New York scene. So St. John's saw a little bit of money. Cincinnati sharps took the 6.5. They took a shot on that, but 7's the key number in college basketball too and pro basketball. So for them to take the 6.5, it means a lot. I guess that'll move down to 6. They do like Cincinnati. Clemson was a strong move, open 6, bet down to 4.5. A little bit of Marshall money coming in. They scooped up to 4.5, moved that down to 4. Now there's an adjusted vig to bet Marshall. Mississippi, also another game where they kind of took the hook, the 2.5, moved down to 2, kind of where the love stopped though, just to take that extra hook in case it's a 2-point game. They're looking, a lot of sharp bettors, they look for value in the number. It's not, if they could get the 2.5, and it's a rivalry game. You're looking at a conference home dog, SEC game. Against Mississippi State, they'll take the points in that spot, take the hook at least. And TCU was another big move. They got moved down. They were opened up at 21, and they were bet down to 18.5. As far as some totals that moved, Akron Buffalo opened 135, was bet up to 137, moving toward the over. The Ball State Central Michigan game opened 124.5, bet up to 126.5. A little love for the over. LaSalle Temple opened 143.5, bet up to 145.5. A little bit of love for the over. Temple's defense not playing as good as years past. Georgia State Northeastern opened 117.5, bet up to 120 toward the over. Richmond George Washington opened 127.5, bet down to 125.5 with some underplay. St. John's South Florida, especially here locally, call also open 119.5, bet up to 121.5 toward the over. And Tulane Tulsa open 114.5, bet up to 116.5 with some love toward the over. And that wraps that up. That wraps up our long market report video. Again, the 5-star pass up for sale on the site, and also we should have the NFL Sunday card should be up Thursday. Sometime we should have the plays released. Everything will be up Thursday. You guys can pick that up as well. And that's it. I hope you all have a profitable, good Wednesday.